And welcome to another edition of the Throwing Bagels Podcast. Jason Hamo here, along with Kevin Mooney. Kevin, how you doing?
Hey, I'm great, Jason. How are you?
Good. And Chris Douglas, how are you?
What's up, Hamo?
How's everything?
It's going great.
We have another great guest today, a former Oswego alumni like the rest of us, former Survivor contestant, creator and host of the 5-time podcast award-winning Rob Has a Podcast. Rob also has a website.com, and he has done over 2,000 podcasts. Rob Cesternino.
2,000
Rob,
this week, I think.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. No, that needs to get updated. That was like probably it's like I don't know, like 7,000 or 8,000 at this point.
Is it really? We can cut that
but
out.
Who's counting?
We can cut that out.
That's
it's still over 2,000, right?
Keep it in. I don't care. But yeah, it's an insane amount. I don't even know, like, I haven't even looked at it in a long time in terms of like what the count is.
Well, 2,000, 7,000. It's a difference between 5,000.
Yeah, just a number.
Yeah, I don't know what the record is.
That's a good question. We should find that out. Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah, I'm chasing history.
There you go. We'll have to look that one up. We'll get our researcher to go look that up before.
Hey, I'm glad you guys got me in for another one tonight.
We're glad you could join us.
One step closer.
That's right. Yeah, we're only about 6,979 podcasts behind you.
Yeah,
we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So Rob, you for 13 years now, right? Rob has a podcast. It's evolved almost entirely around discussion of TV, like Survivor, Big Brother. How has the strike by the actors and writers affected all that?
Honestly, it has not impacted me too much yet at this point in time. But in the fall, like the networks are going to basically kind of like an all reality lineup. So it's actually going to be like a pretty crazy season coming up. And then when we get to the spring, like there's going to be really like nothing in production for the springtime. So I don't know if there's going to be like more seasons of Big Brother that get greenlit or if there's any other shows that are coming up. But yeah, it's been very busy as far as the reality TV of it all has gone.
But the people on the show, like the behind the scenes people, they're not part of SAG.
No, not for reality. That's I think that and this is like a bigger conversation for people like smarter than me of like that there. I don't think that there is too much unionization in the reality TV world. Like I think that maybe like some of like the camera operators and stuff like that and crew people may have like their own unions, but as far as the reality TV producers, it's kind of like a little bit of the Wild West.
Gotcha.
And certainly for the participants of these shows.
Okay.
The good news is I have a lot less Mets games to watch right now.
Well, now that you're back on the East Coast, you can watch them at a normal hour, right?
Oh no, I hate the East Coast. I want to be back on the West Coast. I saw more Mets games on the West Coast. It was great.
That's true. 4 o'clock starts, right?
Yeah, the game starts at like 4 o'clock, and everything. I want to go to bed, and all these games go so late. And with the Met game, you started at 4 o'clock, and it's basically like I don't even need to be there the first 5 or 6 innings, and then by the time I'm finishing up my work, all right, here we go, 7th, 8th, 9th inning, and it's only like 7 o'clock. That's like perfect for me.
I think about
Makes
that
sense.
too when you're, because Rob, you spent a lot of time in Los Angeles, but like a football games kick off at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I like that too. That was good. I do like having a little extra time to set my fantasy lineup. I'm not going to lie about that. But as far as like the night games, like I don't know, I don't think I saw the end of a primetime game in the last 2 years. Very few, maybe 5.
Well, maybe now that the Jets might be on, you might see a few.
Yeah, I guess I'll be up for that, but it's sort of like not ideal. And then like they win, and it's like, all right, well, that's great. Now I'm not gonna go to bed for a couple of hours. Now I'm pumped up.
Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Rob, as you mentioned, you've done let's say thousands of podcasts. What's been the most challenging part of putting together each and every one of those podcasts?
There's lots of different things that are different challenges, but for the most part, you have to just stay on top of like all the different things that you're going to podcast about. So you can't just come in and like not have watched the show that you're going to talk about, or not be like knowledgeable to be talking about it. And so there's a lot of like, it's sort of like, it's fun, but it's also can be a grind at times. And so there's a lot of things that go into the podcasting, but usually the podcasting is the fun part. It's a lot of the parts that are, it's a business, and there's a lot of parts of it that aren't always fun, that are sort of like around, that you have to do to get to the part that is the fun part, which is podcasting.
What is like something that's difficult to get ready for?
It's, running like a small business. So, you have like a lot of, personnel issues that come up. And, it's also that we have a community around the podcast, and sometimes there's issues in the community. And so, you're also like, trying to make sure like the marketing gets done, and like all the other like little things that go into, the distribution and stuff like that. And so sometimes like that can be challenging, and, just like the kind of stuff that you would deal with like in any line of work.
When do
we throw the bagels?
That's later. Okay. That's towards the end.
Yes.
That's way towards the end. How has social media helped basically your podcast? Rob has a podcast, to get where it is today.
I was pretty early on in the days of Twitter, and I started podcasting around around the beginning of 2010 was when I started really podcasting, where I was out of work and I'm like, well, let me just like make a podcast because it's like something I could put on my resume, because I really just want to find a job right now, and I'll look like, okay, I have something going on if I'm doing a podcast. And that there were people that were on social media that wanted to talk about the different shows. And it was really like the first time around like 2009, 2010, 2011, that people, like, other than going to like a message board, it was like the first time that you could like sort of like connect around interests. And so I was able to be like pretty early in the game to be like connecting a lot of people that were fans of like these reality TV shows. And so, social media was certainly a big part of, how we started to build a community around the idea of reality TV podcasting.
And you've been able to build quite a base of fans, and there's been a lot of podcasts that part of the RAP, right? RHAP, Rob has a podcast network. You talk about Survivor and Big Brother, 90 Day Fiance, Amazing Race, News AF, which is really cool. I mean, how many podcasts are there now going on at any given time across the network?
So we have Robin's podcast, and then we also started post show recaps in 2014, which is like the scripted TV arm of what we do. And so it's hard. I mean, honestly, I don't even know. Between like, post show recaps, I think, has more than us. And I feel like they probably have like 30, 40 different podcasts that are going on, covering like all of the shows that have come on in the last couple of years. I feel like that we have like 20-ish podcasts that are like in and out of season at a time, where there's a lot of shows where it's like, okay, this show's not on right now, so we're not making new episodes. But then when the show comes back, we get the hosts back together and are making episodes.
Were you like one of the first podcasts to do that, like live recap of shows, whether reality or scripted?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm trying to think of how many other shows like did a thing live after the. I honestly, I really don't know. I mean, I think I just kind of thought that it was like, from like all of the sports that we watch, it was just sort of like, okay, well, this is the post game show. And we started doing Survivor Know-It-Alls in 2012, and we had been doing it like for Big Brother, and it just seemed like, okay, well, that's when people are talking about the shows. And so we should go live, and like video streaming started to get to a point where we're like, okay, let's try it. And yeah, I don't know who else. I'm sure I can't imagine that we were the first, but we were pretty, early on in terms of like, okay, let's go live right after the episode and talk about what just happened.
Have you ever considered podcasting about something other than reality or scripted television?
I don't know. I've never really. I don't know if I know about anything else to the podcast about it. Like I would, I think about sometimes like I would want to like talk about like different sports things, but I just would regurgitate what other people are saying about things from sports. So yeah, I haven't really done. I probably maybe there's been things here or there that I've talked about, but no, not really. It hasn't. It's just I feel like that's sort of been. What I know is, watching something and then talking about it.
Do you have a scripted television show that you wished you could have been on?
Oh, a show that I wish I could have been on, like as a character in the show or like worked on the production?
Either.
Oh my God. Boy, so many of the scripted TV shows, horrible things are happening. So I never have really imagined myself in any of these other shows. So I really liked Succession. That was my favorite show in the last couple of years. But I don't know if I necessarily want to. I guess it'd be fun to hang out with, like the Roy family. So, and that doesn't seem like too dangerous. Not too many people are getting like murdered, just a couple, and that that seems pretty good. That's better than say like The Last of Us.
Or Breaking Bad.
Or Breaking Bad. Yeah. That's, so that seems like a better universe to be in for sure.
What about, let's talk about the show that you were on, of course,
yes.
Survivor. It's been about 20 years since you appeared on Survivor Amazon. What comes to mind most often when you think back to that time?
It was so fun. I was so happy to go and do it. I think that, for a lot of people, like they suffer and it's a very, a hard experience. And I don't want to say that it's not hard, but, I did it at a point in life where I had just graduated from college and, I had so much fun in Oswego and I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay as long as possible. I managed to stick around for an extra semester and I ended up, graduating in December of 2000, and I started working at an insurance office. And it was I was very bored doing that, and I was really loving the shows that were on. And I was like, oh wow, this is my dream to go be on one of these shows. And I had applied to be on Big Brother actually, and I loved Survivor always, but I thought that I would die if I went on a Survivor. And so I ended up going to apply for Big Brother, and I got very close to getting cast on Big Brother in the summer of 2002, and they ultimately didn't pick me. And then a couple months later, I got a phone call and they said, hey, do you want to be on Survivor? And I'm like, okay, you're joking. And they said, no, really, we want you to come out to LA and audition. And I went out there and it was just like, I was just, it was a dream come true. I was like a kid in a candy store every single day that I was out there. Even though we had no food and it was, bad conditions and everything like that. I was like, but this is a lot more fun than being in my office today.
What was the casting like? Like, what was it like going out to LA? And
yeah, I really hadn't. I'm trying to think if I had been to the West Coast. I think maybe once before for work, but I had never been to Los Angeles before, and I was just really excited. And then I was like so excited to be there, and they lock you in a hotel for 8 days, and so you were just like in a hotel and then waiting for them to come and like, all right, come to this room and take a standardized test, or like come to this room and then meet with producers in this conference room and then go back to your room. And you weren't allowed to like leave or go other places. You got like some time in the gym or some time by the pool, and then you got to go to like the restaurant, but you couldn't talk to anybody. And then so I basically was just like sitting in my room watching DVDs for a few weeks. It was like I think maybe like a week straight. But I mean, it was fine.
in the end,
a little bored,
worked out, right?
Yeah.
When you talk to people, and I'm sure you talk to people all the time, and when they maybe when they don't know that you're on Survivor, they find out, or if they know you from the show, like what's one of the first questions they ask you?
That people always like people that when they find out about Survivor, they just want to know like about usually like the bathroom, like was it hard? Those are like but it's like is it real? Like that's usually like the line of questioning. There's like some like people are just like incredulous about like that it actually happens and you go there and then there's like a game going on. So I mean I get it, but yeah, people are very focused on like that, but like what the bathroom situation is. And for your listeners, there is no situation.
It's dig a hole, right?
Yeah.
Dig a hole.
Well, there are a lot of people now that go in the ocean. So that's
There you go.
that's also. But really, that you don't really eat that much, so it's not a major concern like it might be.
Let's go back to your days at Oswego. Rob and I pledged the same fraternity while we were in Oswego in the spring of '98, which is a really long time ago. It feels like,
Yeah,
There was
25 years ago.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, exactly. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary of running around. How did Oswego come up on your list of schools? Did you think of going to Oswego? Was it one of those schools that you were just like, I don't even know if I didn't know anything about it?
So I didn't know anything about it. I really, I wanted to study broadcasting. That was always I wanted to be doing something with, broadcasting, television, anything that was like remotely related to that. And so I looked at like my parents basically I guess had talked budget with me and said, okay, we're going to State University of New York. Okay, fine. And it's like this one. I feel like there was only like 3 or 4 maybe that had a TV station at that time, and it was like this one has a TV station. Never really heard of it. I don't know anything that's going on there. But my parents said I could go, and I got in, and I never looked back. I never even visited Oswego before I went. The first time I ever went there was for orientation.
Really?
Yeah, my parents were not one of these. That
No.
they were not people that were like, hey, let's go on a college tour. Let's take you there. Let's they basically, I looked at the brochure and then, and it wasn't even like that they had like a website that you could really like look at or anything like that. I mean, maybe they had a website in 1996, but it was not like you could go on YouTube and watch a video. I think that maybe you would hear like stories of people that there were ropes and there was blizzards.
Yes.
And I was just like, my parents are going to let me go here. That's fine. I don't care.
And you didn't let the wind hold you back while you're trying to walk through it.
I mean, I think I would have gone to Guantanamo Bay if it was, okay, well, it's not my parents' house. Not to like slight, my parents, like it was that bad, but I just was like, you're gonna let me live somewhere else? Like, okay, fine.
I'm with you.
Let me see what it's like.
I was like, I'm going far enough away that you're not going to show up at any moment in time.
It seems a running theme of the guests that we've had that are alumni that have never been to the campus before orientation or the first day that classes are.
Okay, good. I'm glad I'm in good company. We went to summer orientation. My parents took me there, and it's like, I mean, if you're going to go to Oswego, go in the summer. I mean, it's like, oh, this is nice.
This school's awesome. Look at the beautiful weather that they have.
Yeah.
And there were no ropes though on campus when we went.
No, I don't. I think that was like in the 70s that happened.
It was one of those myths, like the football team myth,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's the football team myth, Jay? Let's go.
Yeah, well, I've never heard of what is the football.
Come on,
team
we've discussed this, haven't we? The whole thing about a player dying on the field and they canceled the program. I don't think it actually ever happened, but
Oh my God.
It was like, I remember hearing about this, people saying it was like in like the 60s or 70s that it happened, but I don't think it ever actually happened. Pretty sure it was a lie.
See, I think we've all heard rumor. I heard that the rumor was that Oswego dropped the football program so they could use those funds to bring a big musical act to a concert on campus. That was one thing that I heard, but.
That sounds more plausible, though.
But more plausible, yeah.
We'll need to get our investigative investigative team on.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
They
Someday.
got Bernie Madoff on the football team.
Pretty much.
Oh my God.
Yeah, pretty much.
Rob, you chose to go to Oswego and you got involved with the student radio station, WNYO, the student TV station, WTLP. I mean, what was your experience like there at those outlets?
So I remember that there was like tryouts for for TV, and I just remember that I don't end up talking too much about Oswego, so that you guys might need to remind me of. So at the Union in the basement, right? That's where there was the TV station and the radio station. And I remember them having like tryouts. And I remember like there were one night, and I feel like that there must have been like, 50, 60, 70 people like going in for tryouts or whatever. And I guess you must have had to do some sort of like audition for that. And you were just like I don't remember what they had you do, but there was like some sort of like audition. And I remember I went in and I guess I did good enough, and they put me I got on to one of the night it was Thursday nights my freshman year of being there, and so I was very excited about that. And I would spend like hours and hours like on the days of like the newscast. And I think my segment like ended up being like way too long, and like there was nobody like who like was like vetting like how much you had before you went on. Like I think I did like, and it was like 1996, so it was like the Yankees were like making like a run, and that felt like that was very like historic like at that time. And like I think like the first time I want to say it might have been like my first broadcast might have been like the Jeffrey Mayer game, the first game one of like either if it wasn't that, it was like maybe like the next game after that. It was like that was like around the time that and I did like I feel like going back and like I still have the tapes. Like I did like a 10-minute sportscast. It was like a 30-minute.
You had like your own show.
Like and nobody was like,
that's excellent.
Like, hey, kill it.
That's great.
But yeah, I was doing that, and honestly, I don't really remember. Like, I remember being on the radio from time to time, but I never really did like anything like too much. I feel like I feel like I was mostly concentrated on the TV station.
Your sports anchor segments were kind of like a mix of stand up and sports. It was
I just wanted to copy
range.
Sports Center. I wanted to be like Craig Kilborn and like all the people that were on Sports Center. I mean, Sports Center was so formative in the like mid 90s, and that's really just like what I wanted to do. It was like the one part of the newscast that like you kind of got to be creative. You couldn't really like read the news and be like wacky or anything like that. And the weather, I guess there's like some opportunity there, but I wasn't super interested in that. And so like the sports was sort of like where I was just like, it was like joke, like one fact about sports.
So was your thought then you were going to do something in sports broadcasting? I know you mentioned you grew up a big fan of game shows. So was it game show? Were you looking to be a host there, or was it
I
sports?
don't know what there was no good plan.
Okay.
I feel like that I did not know how to get into anything in broadcasting, and like I graduated from college and then I started working in the insurance office. I was like I didn't know, where to, like, if I knew somebody that like had an in of like, go be an intern at this place, like I would have done it. I interned at like News 12 Long Island one summer. I think this maybe the summer of 1998. And then I tried to get a job in the CBS station at Syracuse. I knew a woman at somebody who was a classmate at college who had that internship, and I applied for that. And I didn't get that job, but I think I would have stayed in Syracuse. I mean, it would really change my life that I didn't get that job. I would have stayed in Syracuse, I think, and like worked at the CBS Syracuse station if I would have gotten that job. And other than that, like I never really had another opportunity that and bad on me, I I wasn't like pursuing stuff, but like I was sort of like, okay, well, this will be my backdoor plan is that like I'll just get on like Survivor or Big Brother, and then like somebody will give me a job, which like is kind of what happened, but it was like was like not a good plan.
It's a plan. You just you took your own route to your plan, really. with your plan.
Yeah.
But think about it. If you had gotten that job in Syracuse, maybe none of this ever would have happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
So who knows? Two more things from me. First, the Jets.
Yes.
I have to touch on the Jets because you are, as many of us know, you are a humongous Jets fan.
Yes.
You and a couple other guys from college were probably some of the biggest Jets fans I've ever met. What's your thoughts? Aaron Rodgers. They just got
excited. Well, I've gotten to podcast a couple episodes of Hard Knocks, which is sort of like I was not excited for the Jets to be on Hard Knocks. I thought it would be a distraction, but I've actually been very happy with like what they've put on Hard Knocks these couple of episodes, and I felt like, hey, it's a reality show. I guess maybe I can talk about Hard Knocks. So. Yeah, it's really, really exciting. The team looks great. That you hope that they could block for Aaron Rodgers, and I'm just trying to like be like positive vibes only because there's so many different ways that this whole thing could go sideways. And basically, like at the end of this year, like Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas could get 5-year extensions, or they could get fired. And then every like Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, Aaron Rodgers, like everybody could be gone in 6 months, or like we could win the Super Bowl. This is like high variance on like what could go right or wrong.
Yeah, I feel like when we were back in college and the Vinny Testaverde days, and you guys were like freaking out because the Jets were doing so well, and it's like the Mets. They're very few and far between when you get some of those years. So. You guys, I just remember you guys freaking out, so I can imagine the rest.
Yeah,
of you guys,
I've never
like,
been
right
more
now.
disappointed of like going into the 1999 football season where I was just like so convinced, like, all right, well, the Jets are going to win the Super Bowl this year. This is it. We're ready to go, and then Vinny tears his Achilles in Game 1 against the Patriots, and it's like that's it. Season's over. Is Week 1.
Yeah, I mean. They're not the only team that's happened to before, but I mean, it's very much Jets like for that. I mean, happen.
Maybe like the 2008 Patriots that happened to them with Brady, but I mean, they had won Super Bowls before. Like I can't think of too many times that it's like the team that's favored to win the Super Bowl, like their quarterback goes down in Week 1.
No, but then you also had those Jets teams that the Mark Sanchez teams that had that went to the conference championship game 2 years in a row.
Yes, and so and that was certainly like the second year was more of the disappointment where that they just had gotten so close they beat New England, and then they just sort of like got their doors blown off in the first half against the Steelers, but then they have first and goal from the 2, or I mean, getting that confused with the Seahawks Patriots, but they basically and then they don't they don't get inside and score a touchdown, and the Steelers end up winning that game.
Yeah, and then hasn't really been anything since until now. So this is your chance. This is your chance. Something we always like to ask everyone that comes on the show: fan of the chicken patty? And if so, what was on it? What'd you put on it when you went to the dining
from
hall?
Oswego? The Oswego chicken patty.
Is there another chicken patty?
I mean,
I don't know. Is there a chicken patty at City Field or something? Yeah.
No, of course Oswego.
Okay.
Chicken patty day. Come on, everyone.
I think I was a fan, and I think I'm a barbecue sauce guy.
Oh, barbecue sauce. All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anything else? Just barbecue sauce? That's it? Plain and barbecue sauce?
I haven't really thought about it too much. What other cafeteria stuff do you guys normally talk about?
I mean, we ask everyone about Chicken Patty Day. Chicken Patty Day is like...
Was it? I feel like it was more than once a week.
It was twice a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel good about it. I think I would have one now if I went back.
Of course.
Yeah. So that was a staple. But I feel like the burger wasn't bad either.
No, the burger wasn't bad, but Chicken Patty Day was like everyone loved Chicken Patty Day.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I feel good about it. So it was solid.
So solid.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Take it.
Yeah.
Well, one final question before we get you out of here.
Okay.
Everyone in Oswego loves the Oswego sub shop. Did you have a favorite sub?
I'm then consider me the outlier. I was never a sub shop guy. Like I feel like I would, I would order from if it was, but I feel like I know everybody loves like the cheeseburger sub. I was never into it. And I'm not like super picky, but I just feel like that the sub shop, I think if anything, I think maybe I would get like, I think that maybe they have like an Italian, like that was like something with like chicken and like marinara sauce. I think that maybe I might have done that, but that might just be a fake memory. I was never a big sub shop guy. It was like one of my least favorite places to get food from.
Did you like Garofalo's?
I guess I'm not a big sub guy. I know that like you go there and you get like a gigantic sub, but it wasn't my thing.
Yeah. Where'd you eat off campus? With the pizza balls or whatever it was from the shed?
The pizza balls are very good at the shed. I feel like that I ate a lot of like mobile pizza from the mobile station.
And then you're putting down the sub shop.
And then McDonald's was right with when I used that my one of my houses was right over there. So yeah, I feel like that in the bagel store was a good one. It wasn't sub shop was not one of my top favorites.
All right. Yeah.
Is it still there? Are they still going?
There. Oh yeah.
Al Roker keeps funneling money into them.
Yeah, probably. It wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. No Mets talk.
I mean, do we really want to talk Mets? Do we really want to talk Mets at this point?
Yeah.
Sure.
Are you guys rooting for a tank?
I mean, I'm not rooting for them to win much anymore. I mean, what's the point, right? I mean, besides the fact that if they don't end up with the 6th pick or lower, they drop 10 picks.
Mm-hmm. I know, and then they're beating the Pirates. What the hell are we doing?
I know, and they're winning tonight. So
we need to lose. These are the teams we need to lose to. What are they doing?
We did promise we were going to ask. So have you thrown bagels? Have you participated in the throwing of the bagels?
No. Why are you throwing bagels? Who are you throwing them at?
Oh no!
I don't think Rob knows the story, which is surprising.
Wow, that is surprising. You didn't go to any hockey games at Romney?
No, I went to some and they threw bagels at the hockey games.
Yes.
Well, that was I think you went earlier on in your college career, not when they started throwing the bagels.
Okay. So they used to throw. Long story short, when Plattsburgh would come into town. And when Oswego scored the first goal against Plattsburgh, people in Romney would throw bagels on the ice, like bagel representing bird food, I suppose, because it was the Plattsburgh Cardinals. So they'd throw the bagels on the ice and make a mess, and they'd have to Zamboni the ice. And,
were they like everything bagels?
I hope not.
Some of them were.
All different types of bagels.
Yeah. It was a mess. Absolute mess.
I thought you were going to say and then whenever Oswego, the goalie had a shutout, they would throw a bagel onto the ice, like to represent 0 goals scored.
Now, I thought that's actually why we were throwing bagels, because in '98, Oswego shut Plattsburgh out in Plattsburgh for the first time in Plattsburgh history. No one had ever shut them out in their own building until '98 when Oswego did it. Mm-hmm. And that's where I thought the bagels came from. But apparently I'm wrong, because that's not what Oswego has in their rink as far as how the bagel story came about.
Well, I say we go back, and then when the other team shows up, we throw the chicken patties on the ground. Okay.
Frozen or unfrozen?
Yeah, well, they'll be frozen. It doesn't matter when we throw them on the ice.
Well, since let's talk about. I think maybe a new season of Survivor. They should only be allowed to eat Taco Bell, and then let's see what the
sounds like a horrible
looks
idea.
like there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it would be a
messy
wild
situation.
Season.
Explosive.
Yeah. Run for the border.
A lot of holes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I would not want to be on that show. That's for sure.
Yeah. That Taco Bell was not also one of the places I would go to often.
Well, I don't blame you there.
Yeah.
Domino's. Pizza Hut.
Yeah, I feel like the pizza, like even Papa John's, like it
Papa
was not my
John's.
favorite, but people would get it and then they send that like crazy bread or whatever.
Those
Yes.
breadsticks.
Okay.
Yeah.
The garlic dipping sauce.
Oh, yeah. Excellent.
Now, I was
Excellent
a Papa
snack.
John's guy because I was a college kid and I was broke and I was not going to pay $18 for a pizza from Pavone's, or Cam's or whatever. So it was Papa John's, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And they would get there quick. They're close to the
Yes.
campus.
Well, that was, or Pizza Pub for like $3, you get a pie.
Get a
Mhm.
sheet.
Remember that?
Mhm.
That was the worst pizza ever, though. It was like cardboard. You might as well have eaten the
Mhm.
box because it was hard. It was cardboard. Rob, we appreciate you coming on tonight. We really enjoyed talking with you, going down memory lane a little bit.
Yeah, it's nice to
Discussing
catch up.
Some Jets, some Mets, some Oswego
Yeah.
podcasting. Rob has, as he said, a lot of podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
more than 2,000,
Yes.
way more than 2,000.
Yeah, episodes, right.
But Rob, we really appreciate it. And continued success with your podcasting.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And that was Rob Cesternino of Rob Has a Podcast. Rob has a website as well, .com. Don't forget about that one. Guys, I thought that was an excellent episode so far with Rob. A lot of insight. And it was good to catch up.
It was great to catch up, and we've seen this when we talk to several of our guests, where as the saying goes, when a window is closed, the door opens up, or whatever it was. A door closed, the windows opens up. So Rob
Whatever
didn't
it's
get
supposed to be.
whatever it is. You know what I'm saying. Like Rob didn't get the internship at Channel 5,
Yeah,
then he went on to do something else. He didn't get the
It's crazy.
spot on Big Brother. He wound up getting on Survivor instead, and that the rest is history from there.
Yeah.
So it is crazy how, and I'm sure all of us have come to that fork in the road, and we wonder sometimes what would have happened if I zigged instead of zagged.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Or if I had gotten that job I applied for, things would have been totally different.
Yeah, for
1,000%.
sure.
There's a couple times in my life I could have been like, if I had gotten that job, or if I did this one, like at least 2 or 3 times,
Yeah,
But
exactly.
hindsight's 2020.
I mean, I have a story where I had a internship lined up with Q104.3, which was a classic rock radio station in New York City. So I'm like, all right, I got this internship in the
Kevin's
bag. I'm ready to
dream.
go. Yeah, my dream. I'm like, all right, I got this internship. I'm ready to go. And then I met someone at an Oswego alumni comm dinner. And I told her what I was doing. And I was a big sports fan. And she's like, what the hell are you doing? You should be applying for WFAN for an internship there. And I'm like, you know what? I have nothing to lose. I already got an internship in the back pocket, so let me do that. And I wound up applying for an internship at the Fan, and I got it. And I sent a letter out to Q104 saying, bye. I quit before I ever started. And then from there on, like really it kind of set a path for me career-wise, where I interned at the Fan, and then I wound up working there shortly after college. So it's kind of weird how things, turn out. Like if I had gone on to that internship at Q104, who knows? Like I would have been fetching donuts and
But maybe you would have gotten a
copies,
job as a DJ on you could have been Jim Kerr in the morning.
Yeah, no thanks.
Once we graduated from college, I was sending out resumes, like literally I would send out tapes. I would send out just like stacks like this high of just envelopes with resumes in them to like any radio TV station in the country, like Bumble, where, Louisiana. And I saw this posting for a sports anchor job in Zanesville, Ohio. And I know where Zanesville, Ohio is now. I didn't know where it was back then.
I was going to ask. I don't even know where Zanesville is.
It's like not far from Columbus. But I got a call back. I got a phone interview. They had said that they wanted to talk to me more, and then I never heard back from them at that point.
Yeah.
So I was like, but who knows what would have happened if that, at that point,
Yeah.
and but whatever. That's life.
The same thing happened to me at a little radio station in North Adams, Massachusetts. It's
North
yeah.
Adams.
Oh, we'll get back to you. Okay.
Oh,
Still waiting for that call,
I'm waiting by the phone, damn it. 30 years later.
So do you guys if there was a reality show that you want to go on, past or current, is there one that you would like to do?
So I would do The Real World back in the day, like back when, in the 90s, the MTV show. I always thought that was a great show. I loved it. I was a religious watcher of that show.
Was that one of the first reality TV shows?
It was one of the first reality TV shows. They had, I think they started in San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say.
So yeah, it rings a bell. Yeah.
I think that might have been the first one, but I remember the one I loved the most was two. I remember New Orleans and New York. And those were like towards like the later 90s.
Yeah. I remember those.
And I just was like enthralled with it. And I was like, but then again, my personality probably wouldn't have meshed well on that on that show, because I would have been like, oh, F yourself. Like, I'm not dealing with your drama. I'm sorry. Leave me alone. So, and considering they love drama, but
yeah, that's probably why I wouldn't want to go on any of those types of shows. But I would like to do like a cooking reality show, like I don't know, like MasterChef or Hell's Kitchen.
Can you cook?
I do. I love cooking. Yes, I can cook. I've been told I should apply to do it, but I've never had the confidence, and I still don't have the confidence to like actually do it at that level, because it's like that's like a whole nother level of like home cooking.
I've never watched those shows before in my life.
I love
I know of
shows.
them, but I've never watched them before.
Food Network is my jam on the weekends.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Love it.
Kitchen is my worst nightmare. Like, I hate the kitchen. Like, I don't cook at all.
Really?
I hate cooking. Like, some people love it. I used to have a roommate. She was like, she found it like therapeutic.
Yeah, that's why I do it. Yeah.
I find it to be like a chore. I'm like, this is the worst thing in the world.
I will legit cook you a 3-course meal. Like,
you can cook me a 3-course meal any day.
Well, what's your do you have a go-to meal, Chris, that you cook most often?
So I like to cook a lot of fish. So salmon is usually one of my main dishes. Lamb. In the wintertime, it's
You're
a lot
so
more
Greek.
I know, right? In the wintertime, it's more casserole type dishes. So I keep it pretty simple at home. But if I have company or whatever, I'll kind of step it up a little bit and get fancy. So,
what about you, Kevin?
I'm like a one-trick pony. Like, I'll cook chicken breast, and I'll actually do a side of, I'll mix like Brussels sprouts, carrots, and potatoes together, like in olive oil, and throw them on a sheet pan and throw that in the oven. And
all right.
there you go. Like, that's my extent. That's the extent to which I cook.
You're not making any purees or anything like that.
No.
Yeah, no, not in my house. Me and my wife, we don't cook. Neither of us cooks. My kids starve. My kids are like, what's for dinner? I don't know. Make it yourself.
So those little chicken nuggets that are shaped in dinosaurs.
Totally. My kids' palate is mwah.
SpaghettiOs, baby.
Chicken nuggets, pasta, mac and cheese.
Oh, that sounds terrible. It all sounds terrible. It's funny because I grew up in a household that my mother cooked every day.
So did I.
That's kinda,
same here.
That's where I learned and kind of got that passion to like, this is what I got to do. So, a lot of people are in your boat where it's like, we'll get it out of the freezer and throw it in the oven and call it a day.
No, my mom cooked every day pretty much, and I just hate it. It's not my thing, My sister likes cooking, but not me.
A crock pot. They throw something.
I'll do. You know what I like to make actually when we have company over? I got a recipe for a that I found for like a pulled brisket.
Ooh.
and I put it in the crock pot.
Yeah.
And that's that's one thing I actually don't mind making, but that's not something I can make all the time because there's so much freaking brisket that you know what I mean? Like, how much brisket can you eat? Like, I love brisket, don't get me wrong, but like, you know,
after the third day, it's like, I've had
exactly. I'm constantly putting it on potato buns and stuff like that. And like 2 at a time. Like, there's only so much I can eat, you know? But that would probably be the one thing that I actually do like to make. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I got nothing. Chris is an outlier.
I am the outlier. Yeah, I just love it. I love it.
Well, you'll make dinner for us one day.
Yes. And you should apply. Apply for that show, Chris.
I say
go away. That's absolutely way over my head.
Chris, you can't regret. You can't have regrets, man. You gotta do it.
I won't regret it. I shall regret going and looking like an idiot.
No, see, that's the thing you shouldn't regret. You gave it a try. You got to do it, man.
See, Rob tried out for Big Brother, and Big Brother talked to Survivor and said, "Hey, you should put this Rob kid on," and Survivor did. So, Chris, you never know. You show up, and they're like, "Oh, we like this. We like this Chris kid. Let's put him on one of our other shows." You know,
you play up your Greek side a little bit.
Yeah,
you know, like
maybe they're developing a series called My Big Fat Kitchen Meal, and they need someone Greek to do it. And there you go. You're just gonna walk right in, and
I'll just come in
on the pilot episode.
Freaking just breaking plates everywhere.
That's right.
Opa. Yeah, I mean it's.
You speak Greek, right?
Little bouzouki in the corner, guy playing a bouzouki.
Little baklava.
Like, you know. Yeah, I'll make baklava every day, man. I love baklava. So sweet, though. That's the only thing. Little spanakopita.
Yes.
Is that the spinach thing?
Spinach pie. Spinach with with cheese in it. With feta cheese. My mother makes a variation of it with feta cheese and ricotta cheese. And it's just so creamy. Oh my God.
Sign me up.
It's wonderful.
I might try that, actually. I don't like spinach, but I might try that.
It doesn't taste like spinach when it's cooked.
When I was a kid, my mom made this spinach lasagna.
Oh,
and it was like she lied to me and told me it was parsley, and I ate it because she knew if I had known it was spinach, I wouldn't have eaten it. And I ended up having like 3 pieces of it. And then after, like, my whole family's laughing at me, and I'm like, "Why? What's so funny?" And they're like, "You guys, you don't even know what was in there." And I was like, "What?" They're like, "That was spinach." I was like, "What?
No!"
And at that point, I was like, "Well, I like it, so oh well."
Well, maybe instead of applying for the shows, I can just do like a Instagram show or something of what I'm cooking, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, cooking with Chris.
Baby steps.
Cooking with Chris, perfect.
Cooking with Chris.
Okay, you can do another podcast.
Come on, Chris, you gotta do it, man. You gotta do it.
Next on throwingbagels.com.
That's your thing. You just joined Instagram, just joined Threads. See?
I barely know how to freaking use Instagram.
That's okay. You're learning. You're getting better at it. You could join the TikTok. You got it.
The TikTok.
The TikTok.
We've never sounded so old.
Of course, that's why I said it.
Oh, that's great.
It's like
we are
the interwebs.
The information superhighway.
On the line. You go on the line. Go to the TikTok
and do the intergoogle.
And do it. Oh my goodness.
Oh God.
Man, how do you keep track of it all?
It's not easy.
No, and Chris, you're a pro at it. So you've done a great job for us.
Social media guru.
Throwing Bagels Podcast, social media guru, Chris Douglas. So, all right, I guess that'll do it for this edition of the Throwing Bagels Podcast. Don't forget, check us out online, throwingbagels.com. You can email us, throwingbagelspodcast@gmail.com. Our thanks again to Oswego alum, Survivor alum, creator and host of Rob Has a Podcast, Rob Cesternino, for joining us on this edition of Throwing Bagels. And again, check out his website at robhasawebsite.com. Thank you again for joining us. I think my blog is coming up next. It's going to be a surprise. You'll find out
Wow.
Surprise.
on Monday.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to write about.
All right.
We'll figure something out.
It's usually what my blogs are. I have no clue what I'm going to write about until 5 days before, and I'm like, oh, I got it now.
Yeah.
I
I angrily wrote mine just before.
Yes,
it
you were
came out,
angry.
so I was very angry.
Yes, you certainly have some thoughts about college football, to say the least.
Such a gimmick.
So take care, and we will see you again in a couple of weeks. And if you can believe it, football will already be upon us by the time we speak next.
Crazy.
Which is insane. Yeah.
But
So
awesome at the same time.
yes. See, Jay, you blogged once about how like the spring is the best time of the year, and this might be a close second. Is the fall?
Is a close second? Yeah.
Definitely.
Football.
It depends on your sports.
That's true.
Enthusiasm. A lot of people think this was number one, but
Baseball playoffs and football and college football and hockey's on the way and basketball's getting ramped up and
European football.
It is. Yeah. So we will actually be talking Syracuse football and Syracuse basketball and a few other things with News Channel 9 sports director Stephen Fonte on our next podcast. So we are very much looking forward to that. So stay tuned and we'll see you then. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Chris.
thank you.
So long.
Bye-bye.